So I'm so excited about this Zoom tonight. This is going to be a jam-packed Zoom of just straight enrollment tips. So make sure you have your notebooks out. The recording will be uploaded soon if you need to rewatch anything. But I'm super excited for you guys to hear from everyone on here. Everyone on here was asked to speak on this Zoom specifically because of the enrollments they had the last few days of December and then the first week of January leading up to this point. Every single one of them have just been exploding with whether it's LCs, DTs, or both, and high BV at that. And so you're going to hear tips on how to, enroll both distributors, both loyal customers, and also some great upselling tips. So I'm just super, super pumped. We're going to go ahead and get started right away with Presidential Diamond leader Jordan Splinter. I'm going to pass it over to her, and she's just going to share her very, very best tips for you guys. So again, make sure you've got your notebooks out. This is going to be so, so good. Jordan, go ahead and see if you can unmute yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Jordan Splinter. I'm a Presidential Diamond, like Brittany said. I'm excited to share with you guys. Hopefully I will not be coughing. We're getting over some pretty yuck stuff in our house here. So, but I just wanted to share some tips with you guys and just kind of open up and be a little transparent with you as well. This is something that I shared with my team just a couple of days ago. And I truly feel like when we are in different seasons in our life or different places in our life, keeping things in the dark does not help it. Bringing it to the light is what helps you move forward and get out of it. So I shared with my team that last month for me, the whole month of December was a terrible, terrible month for me. I didn't enroll anything last month. And I know that's a shocker for coming from a Presidential Diamond. You're probably thinking, oh my gosh, you guys get all the customers and all the distributors. Well, sometimes that's not the case if you're not being consistent. And that's what I was doing. I was not being consistent with my posting, and I got complacent. And I saw the fruit of that in my business, and that was negative fruit, you guys. So I decided at the end of the month, I'm like, okay, what the heck am I doing? I know how to do this thing. I know how to do my 6 list. I know how to do my steps. It's time to start doing these things. And I made that shift in my mind. I reached out to Brittany, talked with her, probably cried a little too much, and she helped me get my things back in gear. And you guys, from the very beginning of January, I have gotten more enrollments this month than I have in months. And I know that that is just setting my mind to it and deciding, okay, I'm going to work my business like I know how to do it. I'm going to get customers this month, and I'm going to enroll distributors this month like I get paid to do, right? So what I'm doing differently this month and seeing fruit from is I'm being consistent. I'm being consistent with my posting. I'm starting to see that fruit again. And you guys, one thing about consistency is you may feel like you're posting and you may feel like you're doing all the things and nobody's coming to you. Nobody's like, you hear leaders talk about people popping up in your inbox and you're like, I've never had that before. Well, I promise you that that does come, because I've had, like I said, the months of just not great business for me, from my own doings, but the times that I was posting and when I'm consistent, people start coming out of the woodworks, you guys. And as I started being consistent again from the very beginning of this month, and at the end of last month as well, but like truly hitting it hard at the beginning of the month, I started having people getting in my inbox and saying, hey, I need help with this. Hey, I need help with that. Like people who've been watching my journey since I joined the business almost 3 years ago. So just be consistent and know that people are watching you. And if you're not posting, you're not going to see that fruit. I wasn't posting consistently. I wasn't seeing the fruit. And people need to know that you're still in business. They're not going to want to invest their money with you on products or the business if you're flaky. Okay. Don't be Don't be flaky. The second thing is I started voice messaging even with customers, and I'm going to be talking a lot about customers in my little segment. So I don't normally voice message potential customers. I usually type it out, but I made a decision in my mind that I want it to be the real deal for people. I want to see people change their lives with these products. So I was putting up posts for TFX. That's where a lot of my customers have come from this month. You guys can go check it out on my page. If you scroll down, it's still there. It's such a short blurb with like a colorful background. And I was getting so many comments on that and people in my inbox. And you guys, I could have been like, okay, I could have been so desperate to get orders in that I'm like, okay, great, let's get you Thermifite X and gotten the order through. But instead I sent them a voice message, or some of them I sent, I just typed it out and said, hey, just out of curiosity, what are your goals? Like, what are you wanting to do right now? And you guys, I had, gosh, it was either 3 or for maybe 3 orders that were over 100 BV because of that question. Because I asked them, hey, what are your goals right now? And they ended up getting like anywhere from 3 to 5 products, because I'm suggesting it to them because I'm the professional and I'm saying, this is what I suggest for you. And I'm breaking it down to, hey, this is literally only $8 a day for the pack that I was offering them. It was coffee, BFF, TFX, and I think cleanse. They varied between the people, but basically it boiled down to like anywhere between $8 and $9 a day. And that was covering 2 meals for them and giving them a reset with the cleanse and the TFX booster. And obviously it's different per pack that you create for them. Like each of them had different things that they were working on, but I broke it down to the day and said, hey, like that's a pretty cheap meal if you ask me. So then they're not seeing a big number. I'm breaking it down for them to a smaller number to see like, hey, I can give up sodas and snacks and whatever and pay $8 a day to be able to get healthier. So that's what I was doing for that. I was offering that to them and I was voice messaging them, telling them how I'm using the products as well, how they keep me full. I'm taking what the problems that they're telling me that they're having, I'm turning it around, telling them how I can offer them a solution to that. How when I use the product, it does this for me, which is the solution to their problem. And then the last tip that I have, so that I don't make this too long, is once we're ready to go ahead and get their order in, once they've agreed, whether it's 1 product or whether it's 5 products, I am sending them this message. And I got this I saw another leader post this like a year ago or something like that. And it basically is just getting an upsell of the cleanse with their order if they don't already have the cleanse on. If they're already getting a cleanse, I switched it up and I did it for like greens or something like that. So it basically just says, okay, it looks like there is an exclusive offer for you at checkout for our 2-day all natural cleanse. You can still eat on it, just no fried foods or alcohol for the 2 days. Drink 1 bottle in the morning and 1 at night and repeat on day 2. It's $39. It's one of my personal favorites and I recommend it with any of our products for best results. It just sets the stage for your body to absorb the most nutrients. Do you want to try this one out as well? You get free samples if you order 2 products. And obviously for the people who are already getting 2 products, I didn't put that part in there. But if it's somebody who they were just dead set on 1 product, I'm adding that at the end. And then I'm just sending them samples that I have on hand. So like just something in the packets, which fortunately is the majority of our products now. And I would say probably 98% of the people that I sent that to said, yeah, go ahead and throw that on. So those are my tips, you guys. Be consistent, voice message when it's possible, get to know their goals so that you can do them a service and yourself a service, and go for that upsell at the end.
Boom. I love that so much. And if you guys didn't catch, Jordan said she just simply woke up one day at the end of December and just decided, and that was the end of the story. She got busy, and these tips are things that any single one of you on here can take and immediately implement, no matter where you've been in your business, whether you've been in a year and you're just in a weird place, whether you've been in a month and haven't really, actually started and gotten to work. These are things anyone can do. So Jordan will put that thing that she just read in the chat. So don't worry, you guys will be able to copy that. But next we're going to go on to Amanda Stein, Triple Diamond VIP leader. I'm so excited for you guys to hear her tips. She ended December with a bang, started January off guns blazing, and I know you guys are going to love everything she has to share.
I love what Jordan said about how she just decided to make a change, because that's my number 1 tip that I wrote down before I even heard what she had to say. Was my number 1 tip is make it happen. Decide what's going to happen. And in order to do that, we need to know what we need to make happen, if that makes sense. So we need to be prepared with our chart and not wasting time. But I think that's my actual number 1 tip. I think that most of y'all who are on here, you have the tools. The confidence might be still building, but it does come down to making it like a decision that you're going to sign somebody. I saw, I don't remember what's Courtney's last name. Courtney Sharp. One day when Brittany and me and Courtney were at dinner, and I think Brittany, I don't know, one of us signed 2 people, and like Brittany signed 2 and I signed 1, or vice versa, DTs. And Courtney was like so irritated that she didn't sign 1, and she sat down on a bench and she was like, we are not leaving until I sign a distributor. And that is what my goal has been. So these days are coming by, and then I just think like, okay, customer today, right now. I need a customer right now, and I have all kinds of stuff, like I can figure one out. Okay, so that's my number one. My number two is lives. I absolutely hate them. If you look close enough, I have hives on my neck in the one that I did last, like legitimate hives. I'm wearing a scarf, so y'all can't see it. I don't get like nervous to talk. I don't know why it bothers me, but like I hate them so much, and I physically get hives. But I think it's a great way to connect with people, and it makes you seem a lot more like a real human to people who don't know you from Adam. So I think that's super helpful. And then number three, this is like one of my very favorite things that I've started doing lately, reacting to people's stories, because I think that it's good to interact, like when we do like scroll to enroll, or we do interacting on Facebook and social, like Instagram. But what my new favorite is to do is kind of not to do that, but to go through stories and then to do the react. And I always do 3 at a time, because that's just what I don't know what I do. And then afterwards, I think of something to message this person. And those are the people that I would have as set first. And I intentionally do this now. I'm not going to do it every day and be like a stalker, but I've been doing that a lot because nobody or very few people message you. Like one time Erin Tweed messaged me something from one of my stories, and it was such a big deal to me. And like, she's commented on my post before, but like, I just thought it was so personal and so cool that she commented on something that my story, and like, it went straight to my messages. And then I thought like, well, if I feel like that, then maybe other people would feel like, you know, a real connection then. So I've been doing that, and I have signed DTs. Like, it's been shocking. Like when I set people to see first, and then like focus on, I have a list like on my mirror, focus on who I'm basically stalking that week, like they sign as DTs eventually. Or they at least all of a sudden become interested. Like they may have never commented on something, they may have never asked me a question, but I feel like when you open up that conversation, when you open up the dialogue, it's almost like, okay, well, hey, I was actually wondering about this, or like, you know, they'll start asking you about the business. Okay. Oh, here's another thing that I think is really helpful right now. For host to post, because that's how I sign a lot of people, have a steady host to post stream. Don't wait until you run out of leads to get more. So what I've been doing for that is like the last thing that I posted with the cereals, and I shared that in my chat. I haven't worked through them at all yet, I don't think, because I'm still working on the previous one, because if you get like 100, it takes you quite a while. And I want to make sure that I go back through all of them and answer, because they get a lot of comments on the people who actually post it. But I just have been doing one every, like, I don't know, maybe every 5 days or something. And if it doesn't work, then I take it down, but I just post it. And then eventually I work my way through them, because what I was doing previously, once I started like working it this way, which I think is a really good way to sign ETs or customers for that matter, was I would post it, then I would get all the way through and be like, oh shoot, I need more. But you don't actually have to wait for that. You can just go ahead and post it and give people time to comment their favorite whatever, and then you can just reply to them later. And don't worry about it. Like they're not going to bug you. Like if you ignore them for a week, like it's really fine. So that's one thing that's been working for me a lot. And another thing that's been working for me a lot in the line of host to post, I switched to all business host to post, which I know that works for a lot of people. Shockingly enough, didn't work great for me. So I switched back to my Cleanse, which is my tried and trusted. And I've been signing DTs from Cleanse host to post. I sign customers too. And sometimes like I'll sign a customer and then I sign them as a DT. But I feel like for me, Cleanse is my favorite thing, and I can talk to a brick wall about Cleanse. So like if that opens the conversation, then I can talk to them about anything in the business. And I've been signing DTs from Cleanse host to post. So I switched back to my tried and trusted Cleanse. Okay, let me see. There was one more thing. Oh, one more thing that I want to say is when you're following up with DTs, something that I've been trying to do on purpose in my chart. I don't know if you guys know what chart I'm talking about, but I have a follow-up chart that I got off of Freedom Legacy. It has little tiny boxes and you can put the date. I've been doing direct follow-up, indirect follow-up, direct follow-up, and direct follow-up. So direct follow-up is obviously, hey girl, are you ready to get it started? Something like that. Indirect follow-up was, oh my gosh, this is an actual real life example. Oh my gosh, I saw your house burn down. Are you okay? And then like actually talking to them about that. Less severe than that would be, that's actually one of my PDTs, would be like, oh my gosh, I saw you got your hair done. That's super cute. I actually used to go to that place, or whatever it is, like whatever is relevant. Don't bring up the business, because they probably didn't reply to you the last time. And then you can talk to them. And then like the next time when I've been following up directly, I've gotten a lot of people to sign up that way, because previously I would just do different kinds of direct follow-up, but I've been recording it in my chart as IFU, well, which is, yeah, indirect follow-up. All right. Anyways, that's what I've been doing. That's my code for myself. I can't stop looking at Brittany's face right now. Okay. And then as far as LCs, what I want to say for LCs is I'm like, so yeah. Okay. I do the thing that Jordan does too, but I do it a little bit differently, and I've been doing it for a really long time. So I already build them a package, but then after I build them a package, once I get that credit card information, I'm going to try to add one more thing. My people always get cleanse because like, I won't let you not buy cleanse, but I'll try to add something. And I don't even know what it is, but I'm going to try to add something after I get the credit card, even if they already have 5 products. And then the one thing that I want to say for high BV, I'm trying to keep it short, for packages. So I'll have my host a poster, I'll have a cleanse before and after, I'll have a coffee before and after, and they'll ask me a question, or I'll say, hey girl, I saw you're interested in the keto coffee. Have you ever tried fat burning coffee? Doesn't matter what she says. I'm going to say the same thing. Like, it doesn't matter what she's saying after that. What I'm going to say is something to the effect of, I'm going to start asking her questions about, so like, what is your eating plan and exercise level currently look like? Absolutely no judgments whatsoever, a little X hand sign thing. I just want to make sure I put together the best possible package to get you the perfect package to get you the best possible results. That's what I say. And I say it every single time. I have it in my text replacement. They didn't ask about a package. They probably didn't think they were buying a package, but like, I just kind of take that, if that makes sense. Like, I immediately start talking about that. And then what I want to say is, like, when you ask them questions about their lifestyle, what they're eating, you know, what their schedule looks like, you can understand more things about them. Like, for example, if you know that someone works retail, then you can make a suggestion. You let them know that you actually care, and then they trust you because they understand that you know enough like details about their life that they could, Brittany, that they could like trust you to help them make an informed decision. And like like Jordan said, like, you're the professional, and you are the one who knows all of these things. And I have to say this, I'm going to get on my soapbox for a single second. You are your final authority to your customer. You know more about your customer than I do. You know more about your customer than Brittany does. You know more about helping your customer than Mark Pentecost does, or you should. And if you don't, like, shame on you, because I mean, not shame on you, but like, fix it, because that's why you're not enrolling high BV customers, because you haven't taken the time to figure out the answers for yourself. Because, you know, your sister-in-law doesn't want to know what I think she should have. I don't know your sister-in-law. I don't know what she's going to like. But if you have like firsthand knowledge of the products, you're a product of the product, and you figured it out for yourself, like, that's going to mean so much more for your sister-in-law coming from you. So like, you know, click around and like care enough to make sure that you're, you know, don't trust me, don't trust Brittany, because at the end of the day, like, you know your customer best and you know that person best. And you should know that because like, you went through the whole conversation to make sure, you know, that you basically know what's going to fit her the best. So that's all I've got. Let me just make sure. I think that's all I've got. Yep, that's all I got.
I love that. And it's so true, you guys. Like, when you're confident that you know your stuff, like, you know your products because you've been a product of the product, you love these products, and you know your customers' needs, there's no reason you shouldn't go in and recommend the best things for them, even if, like Amanda said, that is 5 or 6 products, because you know them from talking to them. So don't be afraid. Don't just try to sell them a cleanse when you know that they really need coffee, greens, and a cleanse. Like, go in for what you know is going to help them the best, and you're going to come out with a happier customer who's going to be more loyal to you and a higher BV order. So it's a win-win for everyone.
I want to say one thing real quick that I forgot on that note. Once you give them the package, they are very likely going to come up with a budget objection. And that's when I bring in the thing about asking them what their timeline is. And then I'll say something about, to me, it makes a lot more sense to reach your goal. Like, let's say I already know Sally wants to lose 30 pounds. I'm going to be like, Sally, well, how fast do you want to lose 30 pounds? Okay, your sister's getting married in May. Okay, well, for me, if I were you, I would rather spend this much money for this amount and know that you're going to get the fastest results possible, you know, then drag it out a lot longer. That's what I would do if I were you. And nobody says no to that because that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's so good. Okay, now we're going to go over to Diamond Leader Katie Park. I am so excited, you guys, for you guys to hear from Katie. Katie consistently enrolls high BV customers, and she's just really, really good at meeting her network's needs. And I'm just super excited for you guys to hear her tips. So Katie, if you're able to unmute yourself, you can go ahead.
I unmuted. I don't know how.
Yeah, you're good. We can hear you.
I gotta get to my notes. But just listening to Amanda and Jordan, it's funny because I have like 8 different bullet points of what I wanted to tell everybody. And it's funny that everyone so far has said your attitude and your mindset, because I mean, that's completely true. That's exactly what I said, because same like Jordan, at the end of December, I'm like, things didn't go exactly how I wanted them to go. And so things have to change. And that started with my mindset. And so you just have to be positive. You have to believe in yourself. Like that's the biggest takeaway that I can tell anybody is you have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, your customers aren't going to believe in you. I mean, I wouldn't. If somebody didn't believe in themselves, I wouldn't believe in them. So that's really, really important. So another thing that I've come to realize just being in the business for 8 months is you can't listen to other people's opinions about your business. They don't pay your bills. And so, I mean, you get a lot of negative things. And so all of that you have to set aside and set a goal for yourself. So with all that being said, consistency. I mean, it's true. I post probably 4-5 times a day, like literally that's what I do. And I even did it over the holidays, but you have to be consistent. And so after being in this business, the time that I have, I'm actually seeing like the seeds that I've planted actually like sprout and grow because people are watching. And so that's where like all of a sudden I feel like especially the last week, like so many things are popping up for me because I have been consistent with this business. I've gotten like loyal customers that I didn't even know were watching me that were like, oh yeah, she knows what she's talking about. She posts consistently. I'm going to reach out to her. There was a girl, and I think it was my last one. I talked to her in September, and like out of the blue just popped up and said, okay, I'm ready to order. And I hadn't talked to her in several months. So being very, very consistent is super important. So, I mean, and adding new followers. You're not going to get new customers if you don't grow your following, because you're just like continuously talking to the same people over and over and over again. And I mean, if they haven't signed up yet, that doesn't mean they're not going to, but you just need to continue like growing your following. And for some reason, I don't know why it is, I do better on Facebook than I do Instagram. I don't know. I've heard completely opposite of people, but so I focus a lot on Facebook just because that's how I've been able to get to diamond, and I'm really close to double diamond, and I'm like, it's working for me. That's what I'm going to do. But I mean, some people, that's how they are with Instagram. So if it works, do it. That's kind of what I have found out. What works, continue to do that. So I'm a big person where if I see or if I hear somebody and it's working, like if something's working for them, I'm going to do that too. So, I mean, I'll watch the top leaders and like they're posting the new weight loss thing. It's just a blurb with a colorful background. And I think Jordan touched on that. Blown up completely for me. And that's what I use for my host to post. That's all I've been doing all month. And I've gotten so many host to posts from it. So, I mean, find something that you hear is working and do it too. So I think a lot of people are afraid to do what other people are doing that's working. Don't be afraid. I mean, we're all in this business together. So let's see, I'm going off of my notes. Host to post. I mean, for me, I get tons of loyal customers from them. I don't get as much DTs, but loyal customers, I get so many loyal customers from it. So I would say if you don't participate in the host to post, you need to. I get so many customers from that. So what else? Oh, one other thing I wanted to say is if a customer is not ready to sign up right then, or even a DT, I always get a date where I can follow up with them. I never end the conversation there because I want a yes. And so I don't want to end the conversation there. So I mean, everyone will come back and give me a date and I'll follow up with them then If it's not then I get another date, and I do that until I actually seal the deal. So that's a big thing for me. So I guess just always remember people are watching you, even if they don't comment, even if they don't like, because I've gotten so many loyal customers that I had no idea that they were following me. So be consistent is the biggest thing that I can tell you guys to do.
I love that so much, Katie. And it really is so true, you guys. People are always watching. And so if you get hung up on something's not happening right this second, you're going to miss the blessing that's coming. People are watching. And if you just keep going and being your most best confident self, like and doing what you know you're supposed to do, you're going to see the fruit come your way. So I love that so much, Katie. Okay, now we're going to go over to Double Diamond leader Chelsey Hawkins. I just have to shout out Chelsey, you guys. 2019 was her first full year in business, and she was the #2 enroller in all of Fire Tribe. Chelsey is such a boss, and I just know that you guys are going to get so much from her. So Chelsey, take it away.
Hey y'all, I'm Chelsey Hawkins. Like she said, Double Diamond. I'm just going to give a few tips on signing customers and signing distributors. So my first thing, kind of just going off of what everybody else has said, consistency is my #1 tip. Constantly posting about the products to my page and my story. I don't let like 24 hours go by without a product post in my story with a call to action, either them messaging me with a specific word or a poll for them to vote on. And then also another thing that I do is immediately respond. So if somebody's commenting on my, and I know that everybody can't do this because a lot of people work full-time jobs, but this is just me personally. Anytime that somebody comments on one of my product posts, they are voting on my story, I'm like always checking my polls. I'm gonna respond almost instantly because I don't want them waiting around thinking about it or just like changing their minds or anything. I'm just instantly in their inbox telling them information on the product that they're interested in. And then second, what's been huge for me, and I'm sure everybody else, is Host to Post, of course. If you're not in on the giveaway this month, you need to get in on it. Host to Post is blowing up, even for products. For me, usually I focus mainly on distributors, but this month Thermophyte X Host to Post has been going well. And the wording that I use, I think everybody probably has this, but if not, I'll share it. My friend Chelsey is looking for reviewers. If you could take two pills a day for 90 days and lose an average of 31 pounds, would you try it? And I'm giving that to people as a Host to Post to throw up and just having them tag me. I'm not giving them a picture. They're either just putting it on a color background or just the text, and it's going really well. And I'm always upselling. So whenever I get in these people's inbox that's interested in TFX, I'm upselling either the coffee and greens or always the greens. Because I want them to have the best results possible, and I make that clear with them. And whenever they know that you want the best for them, then they're going to trust you, and they're going to be like, okay, yeah, I want the best as well. And usually I'm always upselling greens at least. And then, like Jordan said, I use the exact same wording that Jordan uses to upsell the cleanse after I get their payment information, and I think she shared it in the chat. Every single order, anybody that orders any weight loss products from me, I always upsell the cleanse. And that's how I always just increase my BV. You just want to keep upselling. I mean, you never know unless you ask, and the worst they can say is no. So there's nothing to be afraid about to upsell. I know that I used to be super nervous about it and be like, oh, I don't want to feel too pushy. I don't want to seem like I'm making them spend too much money, but you really never know. You just have to ask. And then, of course, following up, I am always scrolling through my messages because I'm the worst at writing everybody's names down. I don't know if anybody else is that way, but I'm always scrolling my messages to make sure nobody's falling through the cracks. The fortune is absolutely in the follow-up. So, moving on to my signing distributors tips. Of course, business Host to Post for me is like a game changer, y'all. It really changed the game whenever I made a graphic with my phone number on it for them to text opportunity to me. And I just have a cute group picture of me and some of the girls on the team. And it just says like, earn an extra income from social media. I can't remember exactly what it says, but it's on the Fire Tribe page. There's a post that I made that says Host to Post tips, and it's all of my distributor Host to Post tips. So that's all my wording, all of it's in the comments. but that literally blows up for me. And also how I sign a ton of distributors is just consistently sharing what this business has done for me and what I've seen it do for others. So every single day I'm either sharing like me out, or me doing something with my children, or me doing something with my husband, and just what like the freedom that this business gives me. I'm always sharing that. And every single night, of course, I do a business post with a call to action. I always want them to have a way to get a hold of me. So I'm always putting my phone number out there, or having them message me the word opportunity to my inbox, whatever it may be. You always want to give them a way to get a hold of you. And then another thing that changed my business was whenever I started going live. I know Amanda said this a little bit, but going live and being real with people is going to let them know that you're like a real person. You're not just some like robot behind a screen. Like, I'm literally a person, and I make mistakes, and I'm not perfect. And they like to see that, and letting them into my life, and letting them just see like little things, like how me and my husband act goofy together, or how like the things like tonight I went live about my shopping spree that I went on, or whatever. They'd like to see into your life because they're nosy, and then it gives them something to follow and want to like continue to follow up with and continue to see your life. And then they're more likely to either sign up with you on your team because they like you and they want to be your friend, or they're going to buy from you because they trust you now because they know that you're real. And then also, like I said earlier, always keeping a business opportunity post in my story as well, along with a product, and always having like my phone number in that, or a call to action as well. Like, there's never a moment that I don't have a business opportunity post up in my story at all times. And another thing that I started doing that has been huge is sharing every single win. So every time I'm signing a customer, every time somebody's joining my team, I'm screenshotting it and I'm putting it in my story, because some people watch your stories more than they're seeing your post. I know some people literally will scroll stories like all day long. So I'm sharing every win. So anytime you're signing a customer, whenever you get your shopping spree, whenever you even like signing your husband as a distributor, it doesn't matter. You screenshot that your team is growing, and you put that in your story so people see your success. Whenever people see that you're succeeding, they're going to want to join you, and they're going to want to be a part of what you have going on. So that is about it. Also, what else? That's it. Okay. And being confident, voice messaging. So I used to not voice message, but since I started voice messaging, my business has like taken off, like skyrocketed with signing distributors, because I voice message them and I'm confident about this business because I know what it's going to do for them. And I know that this can be huge for them and a huge blessing in their lives, just like it has been for me. And they hear that confidence coming out of me. It's literally contagious. So whenever you're confident about what you're saying and what this business can do, they're absolutely going to be like, yes, I'm in.
I love that so much, Chelsey. And it really is so true, you guys. Like, when people just constantly are seeing you succeed and you rock it out, like even the people that are like, no, I don't think I want to do this, or they let fear get in the way or whatever, there comes a point when they can't ignore it. And this is where Chelsey just really, really utilizes her strengths, is she puts it all out there and people can't help but get on board because it's always in their face. Like, I don't know if you guys caught when she said she doesn't let 24 hours go by without products in her stories, without her saying something about what the business is doing. And so if you take nothing else away from her, take away that like that relentless consistency will never, ever do you wrong. Like, it's always going to help you succeed in your business. So I love that, Chelsey. Thank you. Okay, going on now to Ruby leader, soon to be Emerald, Haley Wall. I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her tonight, you guys. Haley was our top customer enroller last month in all of our tribe. She enrolled like 27 customers, and she's just been killing it, doing something very unique that not a lot of people are doing. So I'm excited for you guys to hear her tips. Haley, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes. So I'm in the car right now, so you won't be able to see me very well. But so I'm like going through all my notes, and everybody's pretty much said what I had written down. But for me, my wake up call was Jordan Splinter's post about not everybody else's opinions don't pay my bills. And so I woke up like December 1st with a urgency of I have got to get to Emerald. Like, I want to get there. And then December 2nd, I had a leg fall out completely underneath of me. And so I had to rebuild, and it gave me even more urgency. And so what I do, that's my big thing is like wording, like huge is wording. And I watched like Brittany, I watched her deal on how she signed 30 customers in a month consistently. And it finally hit me, you need to wake up every morning with urgency. Like, I've got to sign a loyal customer today. And then I started listening to exactly what to say, the audiobook, like every day. Like, I was going over it over and over and over, like writing down new little wordings. And like for me, when somebody comments on my post, I'll be like messaging you, because I'm always about triple threat. Like, that is my main seller. I don't know why. I can't sell cleanse to save my life. Like, nobody wants cleanse. I've had one customer, but triple threat is my deal. And so I'll message them and I'll be like, hey girl, or hey whatever, I'm so excited to tell you about my products. But before I do, I need to know a little bit about you so that I can make sure it fits into your life. And so I'll be like, what is your job? First of all, hypothetically, and I never say, how much do you want to lose? I always say, hypothetically, how much would you like to lose? Because then it's like, well, if I could lose this is how much I want to lose. They're not telling me like 5 pounds, because if they tell you 5 pounds, then why are you trying to sell triple threat sort of deal? Is my way of thinking. I'm able to say, well, I'll help you lose that 15 pounds. Like, we can do it. And then I'll be like, do you like chocolate and do you like coffee? And so then they'll come back and they'll be like, oh, I'm a nurse, or I'm a teacher, or, you know, something like that. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, especially if they're like in the medical field, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I was a CNA. I know exactly how you feel. Like, I was always drained, and I'm able to give them my side of how it was for me. And then I'll go through and I'll be like, okay, this is what I recommend for you. And more often than not, if I can tell that the conversation is starting to die down, they're starting to lose that excitement or anything like that, I'll be like, and I always voice message, like, this is all voice messaging, but I'll be like, can I get your phone number? Because I feel like I'm not explaining this to the full potential. I'd love to call you, and I'd love to talk to you one-on-one and set this up so that it is fitting you personally. And I'm always big on, this has to fit you personally, your budget, everything. And I get on the phone with them, and guys, I could not voice message when I first started this business. Like, Brittany and my husband pushed me. I was like, I'm not voice messaging. No, because I was tongue-tied until I was 3. I had a speech impediment until I was 10. I just sound horrible when I listen to myself. And so I'm so self-conscious. And my husband made me voice message him when I started this business. Every time I message him, if I texted him, he would yell at me through the voice message me back. And Brittany always made me voice message. Like, if I can do it, I know you guys can do it. And so then I was like, well, if I can voice message, I can get on the phone. And that was a huge step for me. Like, I was so scared. I was stuttering, everything. And when I did my first phone call, it opened my eyes, because the lady not only bought 1 triple threat package, but she bought 3. Like, she convinced herself. When I was like, why aren't you doing this? Why are you making it harder for yourself? Why are you working out when you're already a nurse? And I started asking those hard questions, and she started answering them. I just turned around the questions. And it's so much easier when you're on the phone actually talking to them and have them right there. And then the ones that do say, well, I don't have a budget right now. I go, okay, well then would you be open to exploring? And I never say, are you interested? I always say, are you open to exploring? And I'll be like, are you open to exploring this product that is in your budget? And then we look at it and they're like, oh yes, I want that. And if they still say no, then I say, okay, what date can I follow up with you? And I get their phone number and I put it as a reminder in my day planner, in my notebook, and on Facebook. So we both see it. And then more often than not, I sign them the next time. So that's how I go about wording and everything. And if I'm doing coffee and grains, I always upsell triple threat, or upsell the Thermo X. So that's my big one. But then the virtual parties are huge, guys. Like, that's for me, because I live in Moreland, Wyoming. I am out in the boonies. Like, you can't get any further out than me. And I can't do pop-up parties very easily. So I just do a virtual pop-up party. I go to a loyal customer. I'll be like, hey, how would you like to earn a free product? Or something like that. And then I friend all of the people who they add. And I do a 7-day party because 7 days, more likely than not, people will buy because they're seeing the same thing. And I do lives, games, everything. And then I add them as friends at the end. And more often than not, my loyal customer within a few weeks. And it's just been a huge blow up for me. So, but consistency, urgency, like everybody else said, those are huge things. But for me is mostly in the wording. Like I'm one of those people that I know for me, I have to hear it a certain way for me to understand. So it's just kind of fun for me to figure out people and how they react to wording. So.
I love that so much, Haley. And you guys, I don't know if you guys caught that she said when she first got started, she was so scared to voice message. She was, not very confident, thought her voice sounded bad, like all these things. So what I hope you take away from this is no matter what thing you're telling yourself, you can decide right now that's not the way the story is going to end and you can fix it. Haley overcome her fear of voice messaging by voice messaging me every time we talked. There was like a period, you guys, where it was like just voice messages, straight voice messages, me and Haley, like nothing typed out. Voice messaging her husband only 24/7. And before you know it, not only is she killing it with voice messaging, but she's hopping on the phone. And it's so crazy. Like if you guys read her tips in the Jumpstart January chat and in the December chat, that's almost always her high BB customers, like the 300 BB customer. What the tip is she got on the phone with them. And so that coupled with these, parties, she's just been killing it. And I see a lot of you guys asking about parties. In the chat. I'll get with Haley after and we'll coordinate something where she can maybe make like a post in Fire Tribe with all her tips, or maybe like add one of her mock parties to Fire Tribe where everyone can look at it or something like that. So we'll get something in the team page here in the next few days. And Haley, I'll get with you afterwards on that. But yeah, it's so amazing, you guys, what she's doing, and she's doing it so like seamlessly and teaching her team to do it too, which is what I love. But okay, I'm just going to share my tips really, really quick. I know we're a little bit over, but it's been so good. Number one, I hope that one of the things you took away from Haley also was that the book, Exactly What to Say. If you are not confident in your wording, get that book. It is an hour and a half long. Guys, she said she listened to it every single day until she had like memorized the book. And it's an hour and a half long, so you can do that. It could be your self-development every single day till you felt so confident in what to say. But if you're not confident in wording, listen to my Overcoming Objection Zoom on YouTube. Get the book, Exactly What to Say. It's like a $2 audiobook. And I promise you, if you are diligent with those things, you will be confident in your wording. But another thing that I wanted to say to you guys, I can't remember who said it. One of the girls shared it. Actually, I think it was probably said several times in different ways amongst all of them. But they were talking about how your customer has to know that you believe in yourself. And I wanted to tell you guys just like a really quick story that some of you have probably heard me say before, but Steve Jobs, when he tried to get one of his really good friends, who is the CEO of Pepsi, his name is like something Solly, he tried to get him to come over to Apple back before Apple was even like a big thing. No one really knew who Apple was at the time. It was not the Apple you guys know today. And he tried to get him to leave Pepsi, and the guy wouldn't come. The guy was like, I'm not coming over to your, silly company for like little gadgets, like leave me alone. And finally, Steve Jobs called one day and left him a message, a voicemail on his cell phone back when there was those like bulky car phones. And he left him a voicemail and he said, Solly, this is Steve. He was like, when you're tired of selling sugar water to children, he was like, let me know and you come over with me and actually change the world. Otherwise, if that's not what you're interested in, just go ahead and delete my number because we have nothing to talk about. And Solly like listened to this voicemail in the car with his wife, and he was like appalled. He was like rolling his eyes, and he like looked at his wife and said, can you believe he said that to me? And his wife looked at him and said, well, he's right. That's all you're doing. You're not doing anything changing the world with what you're doing. And he said, yeah, but I don't know that he's actually going to. And his wife said, yeah, well, he's sure going to do a lot more than you are. She was like, I could hear it in his voice. The next day, Solly went back to Pepsi and resigned as CEO and went over to Apple, and he was Steve Jobs' right-hand man ever since, and he helped make Apple what it is today. And the point of that story is Steve Jobs had not proven his success. No one knew who he was at this point in time. But the moment he believed in himself, that was all it took for Solly to leave Pepsi and to come over. And so people don't have to believe in you. They just have to know that you believe in you. They don't have to believe what you're saying. They have to know you believe in what you're saying. And so whether you're talking to potential customers or potential distributors, they have to know that you believe what you're saying. And so, you know, this goes back to being a product of the product. If you're not using the products, I'm sorry, but you're not going to be passionate about the products. And you're not going to talk with such conviction about the products like someone who's out there losing weight and getting results from the products, like someone who's clearing up their skin. I mean, shout out to Amanda winning the skincare challenge from It Works, free skincare for a year, because she's over here showing everyone what the products were doing for her. I know so many, you know, you guys on here have been posting your weight loss results. When you are having your own results, you're going to be talking to people with such conviction about the products because you freaking know they work. So that's one thing right there. And then when it comes to the business, you have to ask yourself right now, do I believe that I can go to the top of this company? Do I believe this business can do for me what I'm seeing it do for everyone I look up to? And you have to answer that question honestly. And if the answer is no, you have to figure that out. You have to figure out, why do you not believe? And if the answer is yes, and you do believe, and you're like, yeah, I really do believe, okay, then cool. There should be nothing else for us to talk about from this point forward as far as the belief goes. You should be talking to people with that deep conviction because you do believe. You do believe if anyone else can do it, so can you. And that should come across in your conversations. The next thing that I wanted to share, and this is kind of like taking, you know, this point on, but when it comes to upselling, you heard so many people share tips about upselling tonight. You guys, do not be scared to upsell. When you believe in your products and you know your products work better together, you're going to recommend what's best for the customer, and you're not going to be scared to do it. My best tip for upselling, it's, you know, very, very similar to what Jordan and Amanda said. I wait till I get their information in my hand and I voice message. And so, you know, if they just sent me their information for TFX, this is how most of my upsells have been going, because it's from that little same TFX post you've heard several people talk about. Guys, I've signed like 12 customers from that post this month. And it's been literally, I posted it twice and it's just blown up, and I'm just literally staying on those same people. If they can't order right away, I'm following up with them. But what I'm doing is, once I get their info for like their card info, like ready to put their order in for TFX, I voice message them and I say, okay, girl, I'm going to get this in for you. But before I do, I wanted to ask you if you were interested in upgrading to our premium pack. And I want to say something real quick. I'm not actually upgrading them to the premium pack. I'm just saying premium pack. I'm upselling them a month's supply of coffee and greens. But I'm saying, would you be interested in upgrading to our premium pack? I can give you an even bigger discount on this. And it would be basically adding a full month supply of our fat burning coffee and our chocolate greens. It's what we call our skinny mocha. It's going to replace your breakfast, give you so much energy, give you full servings of fruits and veggies, keep you full for hours, help you curb cravings. It's literally my top selling combo, and it's helped me so much. If you're interested in that and possibly upgrading to that, I can give you some pricing info on that. And I'm saying that first in the voice message because that gets them interested, and then they're like, yeah, go ahead and give me info. And once they say that, I know that that is something they definitely want. And so then from that point, I know I've got them. And so I voice message back and I say, yeah, so it's normally close to $200. But with my discount, it's only $117. So it's super cost efficient. It's going to save you on your grocery budget because it's replacing your breakfast. The coffee comes out to like $2.60 a serving, and the greens are just a little over $1 a serving. And this is going to, you know, you're going to use this to replace your breakfast, and it's going to keep you full for hours. So it's just going to help you so much, just streamline your mornings and just have more energy and feel better throughout the day. And then they literally every single time, I haven't had one person turn it down. I think I had one person turn it down. Everyone else has said yes. They come back and they're like, yeah, what the heck, add that on too. So that is my best tip, is like get their info and then go in with a voice message to seal the deal, and pique their interest with the first voice message by just talking about what it does. And then when they say yes, they want pricing, then do a second voice message with that. And then just as you're like talking about it, know that you, like, if you're talking about it like you are so excited about this product, you love this product, they're going to sense that too. And I promise you, more likely than not, you're going to get a yes. I love the tips that several of the girls shared about like asking them how much they want to lose and how quickly, because that's another way that you can, you know, really, you know, show them that this is going to help them. This is going to give them the most bang for their buck. Another thing that I'll do, if someone just absolutely, like, this doesn't happen very often, but let's say someone like is saying they don't even have money for Thermifite X, I will literally help them figure out creative ways to fit it in their budget by saying it can be incorporated in their grocery budget. And I'll just kind of gently, give examples of things that could go. So I'll say, I totally understand. What a lot of my customers like to do is they'll incorporate it into their grocery budget by taking something out of their groceries that are not good for them. So maybe think of like a snack that you buy that's not really good for you, Cokes, whatever. Take that out, and then that money can be used for this. And then that way you're not actually spending any more money. And when I say that, I'm not even kidding. 9 times out of 10, they're like, okay, yeah, no, that does make sense. Okay, I could do that. So sometimes people just need you to actually kind of help them see that saying they can't spend $36 on getting healthy is a little ridiculous, because they're definitely blowing $36 somewhere. So don't be afraid. I mean, don't be a jerk about it, but don't be afraid to be direct and like kind of point that out. I refuse to believe that someone doesn't have $1 a day to spend, because I know people go buy Cokes, they go through drive-thrus, they do all these things that aren't good. So I am always going to help them see that, because I want my customers to feel good. Like, I have failed if I've let them believe they can't spend $1 a day on greens or Thermifite X to feel better and get in shape. And then the last two things I wanted to share is, number one, for those of you that are working, or maybe those of you who feel like you just don't have a lot of, creative juices flowing, and you're getting stuck on what to post, telling your story, things like that, sit down once a week and batch some content. Sit down once a week, undisturbed, for like an hour, and write some posts out and get your creative juices flowing. I recommend doing it after you've done your self-development, and write some ideas out in the notes on your iPhone and really get some good posts lined up. Even if they're not fully written, like just getting some of them started. You have to get in this habit, you guys, of serving your audience, telling your story with passion, if you're going to consistently draw that attention into your page. And so no excuses. If you feel like you're like, oh, this just comes harder to me, make this a priority. Like, make it something that you literally schedule every week, that you're going to sit down and do this. And that kind of leads me to my last tip I wanted to say. This has like helped me so much productivity wise. And I promise you, if you're struggling with like getting done what you need to get done, this will help you. But I did a live in Fire Tribe about it, so I'm not going to like hit on it too hard. You can watch the live if you didn't. But basically, at the start of every day, sit down and write out 6 things that you have to get done for your business that day. And I don't mean your 6 list. I mean like 6 other things you need to get done. So maybe it's batch content. Maybe it's the day that you're going to sit down and you're going to batch your content. Maybe you're going to, check in with those of you that have been in the business a long time. Maybe you're going to check in with DTs that quit a long time ago, and you're going to see if they're ready to come back and give it a second try. Maybe you're going to do some extra follow-ups. Maybe it's not Friday, but you have a lot of people that you need to just touch base with. Maybe you want to interact on your PDT's page, whatever. That's the kind of stuff that I'll write down, like go to, 50 PDT's pages and interact. Just because I want to make sure that I'm like really, really being intentional during this season. And so write down 6 extra things like that every single day, list it in order of importance, and then just get it done. Because I promise you, if you have things that you're intentionally setting out to do, you will always do them. And then last but not least, follow up. Do not be afraid to follow up. I love Amanda's tips about, following up directly and then going back and following up indirectly. That's kind of what I do, but with interacting. So like, I'll follow up with them, and if they're not answering me, then I'll go to their page and I'll interact for a few days. And then that way, the next time I follow up, they're a lot more likely to respond back. But just make sure that you're being so intentional with your potentials. And last but not least, I know I said that just a second ago, but if you're frustrated with your potentials, go get new potentials. Don't sit there and like bank on the same like 10 PDTs you have right now. You should have no more, and I'm going to blow some of your minds right now, but I hope this makes you like make it happen this week. You should have no less right now than 50 PDTs. If you do not have 50 solid PDTs right now, you need new potentials. You cannot be banking on the same like 10 and expect to go triple diamond in the spring. Like, if you have a goal to go big this year, you need a lot of potentials. So if you don't have any, go find them. Here's how you find them. Yeah, exactly. Amanda said you should not be able to count them. Guys, I literally can't count my PDTs. And I know most of the people on here can't either. I'd have to go to like my little spreadsheets that Amanda was talking about. It's like pages and pages and pages and pages. It's so many that I literally cannot even feasibly follow up with every single one on Friday, or I'll get blocked on Messenger. Literally last time I did it like a month and a half ago, I did get blocked on Messenger. So like, have so many that you can't count. That's the goal. And if you're asking, oh, well, how do I do that? You grow your network. You make sure you're growing your network every day. You make sure you're interacting every day. You make sure you're doing what Chelsey says, and you're not letting a day go by that you're not talking about the business. You're not talking about the products. Like, you make sure that you're doing the things that are going to draw in those people. Because if you're always doing those things, I promise you, you're always going to have a steady wave. but you got to make sure you're being intentional about bringing new eyes to your page. So that's my last tip. On that note, we're going to wrap this up. I hope that you guys got so much value from this tonight. I will get the recording uploaded ASAP. We love you guys so much. We're so glad that we got to get on here and just share all this with you guys. Let's rock out the rest of January. I don't know about you guys, but I have a goal to promote on the 25th. And I hope any of you that are going for promotions, you have a goal too. I'm running right along with you, and I'm telling you guys, no goal's too big. I don't care if you're so far away from diamond or you're so far away from triple diamond, like you can make it happen if you will simply sit down, implement these tips, make a game plan, and work every single day with that intentionality. I promise you, there's tips right now you heard tonight that if you start implementing tonight, your business is going to be changed this month. Start getting on the phone, like Haley said. Start doing virtual parties. Start voice messaging all your customers, like Jordan said. Start doing host to post, new fresh posts every other day, like Amanda said. Do what Chelsey said. Put it in your story. Do what Katie said, and make sure you're always growing on Facebook. Like, do these things you heard tonight, and I promise you, you're going to be very, very happy. But get to work. Let's make this month count. Everything that happens this month, Mark is going to be backdating with what he announces at conference. And trust me, guys, I know what he's announcing in conference, and you're going to want to be set up to maximize everything that he lays out on the table. So I love you guys, and I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you guys later.